Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of the ugh.podcast. Today, we are talking about success and unpacking and dismantling some of the ideas we thought success was in our younger years. Today's episode is going to be a little longer than usual, so sit back, relax, get your earbuds, and just enjoy three dudes talking shit in front of a mic. In other news, we also have ugh.podcast on Spotify and Podbean. So if you're a person who just doesn't like watching on YouTube, or you want to multitask and do something else while listening to us, or you just hate seeing our faces, you can check us out on those platforms as well. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram. We do post questionnaires that we get feedback and comments from other people. So if you want to engage in our conversation or dictate where our conversation goes to, you can, respond and engage on those platforms. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And just keep up what you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you tune in a lot more, and we appreciate you guys' feedback. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, boy.
You can do the clap of God if you want to, Ronald.
Clap of God.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back, Jasen.
Welcome back, yay!
Whoa, it looks totally different.
Yeah, what happened?
Vince, can you put a audience like clapping?
Yay!
I need budget sound effects.
Yes, sir. Yay. All right, Ronald, introduce what this episode is about.
All right, guys, welcome back to the UGH podcast. This is episode 6, and today we are talking about success in life and what it means to us to be successful, and also what it means to you guys to be successful. Because we had a lot of like interaction with this last one, so
we had a lot of interesting responses.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, question is, what is success to you?
Yeah. Do you want to go?
I can go first since I'm on the notes first. I guess like for me, coming from an Asian family, I guess like
Ben said
that's success has been very traditional. Especially like, do good in school, get a good job, and get money and bring honor.
bring honor to your family.
But like, for me personally, I kind of lived that life in like late high school / early uni. But like for me now, it's really important for me to celebrate not just like big success in life. So I think for me, success isn't like a one-time thing. Like that, oh my gosh, I need to, before I can be consider myself as successful, I need to have like the house, I need to have the job, I need to have the girl, I need to have the money. But for me, now at this point in my life, it's just like success is just like celebrating the small victories in life. Like, yay, you woke up today. Yay, you brushed your teeth. You ate breakfast. Yes, so I think
those things become very difficult.
Like you're living, right? So I think that's for me. Like success is just like the small victories, which build up eventually, hopefully, to that big kind of traditional view of success. I wrote also here, like, every time I do something fulfilling, and that's really like every time I do something, like, for example, starting this podcast with you guys, or I don't know, like hanging out with my dog, that makes me feel good. And that's kind of what I define as success, because like you set out to do something and then you did it and you feel good. So and then I think my response to the Instagram question was like live, laugh, love.
Yeah. You love prayer or some shit like that.
Live, laugh, love, bro.
No. Yeah,
that's it for me, bro.
Okay, so I guess I'll start. So to me, success just means comfort. So it just means if I'm feeling comfortable physically, mentally, financially, it just means, that's what success means to me. Like if I'm feeling all those three things in a comfortable way, that's me being succful. Always grind, that
hungry.
stuff.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry. Oh yeah. Also, our set manager Lawrence is back again.
Yes, sir.
back again.
Yo, got a mic.
But yeah, no, that's like the first kind of part of success for me. I think especially as of now and as of late, especially in the last couple of years. Just being comfortable is something that I can really take advantage of, and that's just what I'm like. That's what I see as success now. Feeling and it's also like feeling like you have a future ahead of you. Like I know there's always like goals that you can grasp and stuff like that, and once you reach those goals, you are successful. But there's also success in the path and the journey that you take towards it,
sir.
and knowing that you can still build that path. Like I'm not successful if I'm fucking dead, bro. Like
True. You're not anything
I'm
if you're dead. You're just...
like I'm not successful if I'm injured. Well, not to say that injured people can't be successful, but you know, it's like if you're trying to get somewhere, if you're trying to do something, like if you're injured in like any like physically, mentally, stuff like that, then it's like it hinders your
Like if you're
path to
jeopardizing your
success.
physical health to attain those goals.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Because I feel like, just to
Yeah.
clarify,
Yeah.
we're not fuck disabled people.
we're not ableist.
That's not what we're trying to say.
No.
What we're trying to say is that it's. Oh, am I too loud? Oh my gosh.
Are we all too loud?
No.
No, I think it's just
Me. I'm just a loud. But what we're trying to say is that don't blow your back out for trying to achieve those successes.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I don't know why I used the word blow your back out. That was the poorest choice of words.
And like the last point is like moving with love and selflessness. Vince actually mentioned this in the first take we did, because we had to redo this.
we had to redo this.
But moving with like kind of love and selflessness, like having the capacity to love and having the capacity to be selfless. So just giving all your homies and all your family and your relationship love, and like also being selfless is also a successful trade, because if you have the money, the mentality, and like the physicality to do all
and
those
the time
things, you are successful. Yeah, and the time, right, and the effort. So that to me is success. And like when I can check all those things off this like imaginary box in my head, I feel successful. Yeah.
For me, it's money, power, prestige, and staying hungry and never settling ever.
never
You
settle.
can never be happy. No, fuck it. I feel like I've been
Diamond.
gaslit as a young kid to really think that, even if I would never admit it. But so our audio got messed up, so I basically have to repeat what I said. But essentially, what I was saying is that for me, success is just a verb. It's just something you do. And I know that's a very simple way of looking at it, but like what I mean by that, it's like you can find success in many things, right? So success in relationships, success in waking up, success in keeping a goal consistent, whether that's going to the gym, success in repairing relationships, success in admitting your bad behaviors and apologizing those you've wrong, success in just like, I don't know, not buying McDonald's for the 5th time this week. Like, you know, it's those little things, right? And like a lot of times I feel like we value the success where it's either by capital, so like money, skill in craftsmanship, so how good you are at something, so like whether you're good at soccer, basketball, piano, dance, blah blah blah, whatever. Good dancers. And what was and fame, so like, you know, Instagram followers, just clouds, or just like, you know, overall like popularity. That's like a lot of the successes that we value the most.
Number of simps.
And
number
honestly,
of Twitch
like
donations.
I feel like we value people who do have successes in those more than people who have successes in other things, which is very problematic because, and especially when we talk about like, you know, the breadwinners mentality, where we feel like we're valued less if we don't achieve those successes, right? So success can be a lot of things, like, or like it's just a word basically, as I like to explain it as, and you know, you not succeeding in like, I guess like blowing up into like this famous whatever person. At a young age of 2, like you are not devalued as a human being. Like, I may sound petty as I say this, but if you want to start a family and kids and just like settle down, that's a success for you. And I hope you are happy with that. You don't need to, you know, get booked on whatever show to, you know, be successphil. So
PBS.
Yeah.
Ellen. Oprah.
Yeah, but that's how I see success. Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Maury?
The Maury Show.
You are not the father.
Not the
Success. Also, I don't know if we mentioned this, but our set director Lawrence is back. Yay!
Hey, what's good? All right.
Anybody got a mic?
Anybody got a mic? All right. What's the next question here?
What's the most valuable lesson you learned about success, and what did you think that success meant?
You want to go first?
I guess I can go first again. I quickly mentioned it in my first answer, but I used to think success was just like the final goal, right? Like, so for example, you go to school for that degree, you go to work for the money, right? So something is missing in the middle, where it's like
Bitches.
no.
Power, prestige,
Sex.
dominance.
If you only see success in your final goal, then you don't really appreciate. And all of this sounds cliche, but you don't appreciate the journey, right? And that's kind of where
1,000 push-ups. No, sorry. Go.
1,000 burpees.
3 a.m. practices.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
I'm trying so hard.
Anyways, but so I was saying the journey, right? That's where you kind of see the most growth in yourself, and that in itself is a success. Like growing as a person, like constant growth. Like you're not always staying the same person. You're learning, constantly learning new things, constantly being a better person. So I guess that's kind of what I learned about success, is just not to have the blinders on, and really appreciate while working towards that final goal or final success, really appreciate the journey and the kind of person that I'm becoming while I'm working towards that goal. Let me see if I missed anything. This is a good one. Asian parent syndrome. So I actually I thought about this in my head. I was like, is there a term for this? And I Googled it, right? And I looked it up on Urban Dictionary. Right?
APS.
So it's like, so apparently like Asian parent syndrome is when you have like a high level of discipline and expectations for yourself, where you're like, for example, if you don't get like that A, or you don't get like the top marks or like what you expected or more, then you kind of beat up on yourself and like, oh shit, like I gotta study more, I gotta study harder or whatever. And I think when I started realizing that I had this is like first, second year uni, when like in high school, I was, not to brag, but I was like, I had like high grades and stuff like that, right?
Oh, I know.
But
Yeah.
when uni hit, like it hit me hard, bro. It's just like, yo, this shit is hard. And like first year especially is kind of when I hit like my lowest of lows, where I gained a lot of weight and I was kind of like tired all the time.
Freshman 69.
Freshman 69. I wish. But can you say that again?
No, but yeah, with the freshman 15.
Anyway, so like that's when I kind of realized that, like, you know. Oh my god!
This is why we can't stay on topic when I'm here. I'm sorry. Go on.
Anyway, so yeah, like first year uni, I got like really low grades, or like lower than my high school standard, right?
Yeah.
Lower than my standards. I was just like, you know what? Everyone's in the same boat as me. And as I got further into university, I just started realizing, you know what? If I pass, I still get the degree. And like when you start to apply for internships or jobs or whatever the fuck after university, right? Because that is ultimately the goal of going to university, is to like get the degree so you're qualified for a job. They don't give a shit about your grades, to be honest. And I know that because I'm in a job right now and they don't give a shit. Like, as long as you meet like the minimum requirement and you show that you're a competent person, a person who can work in a team, a person who's not an asshole, then you have a possibility of getting hired. It doesn't matter if you're a 4.0 GPA or a 3.2 GPA. They will always take the 3.2 if the 3.2 is an actual person and the 4.0 is acts like a bot, right? So it doesn't really. That's kind of how I measured success, like early on in my university and in high school, with like GPA and like academic success, because that's kind of how I've been brought up. being from an Asian family. But I was just like, as I started to get into my degree more, like as I started to finish, I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I just need to pass, need to graduate, do my best to be a good person, and I'll have a good chance of like getting into a job.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the end of my spiel, I think.
Oh, and it's not called Asian parent syndrome. It's called tiger parenting.
Oh, okay, yes. That's
Yeah,
also that. Yes,
parenting.
yeah.
Tiger fighting stuff.
All right, thanks, studio manager. Okay, yeah. Oh, all right. So I guess I'll go. I think one of the biggest things I learned about success is to like fuck what other people think.
Yep.
I think, especially having like tiger parents for like, my parents obviously mellowed out after like all of us got older, and also like just always constantly being under like expectations wherever I went, whether it be dance, school, home. I like eventually learned to just be like, yo, fuck it, fuck these guys, fuck like what they think. I am my own person and I have my own successes, and what they think of me doesn't invalidate anyone's success, or doesn't invalidate my successes, right? So yeah, it's a really big like fuck what people think, especially when it comes to things like I love it when we relate things to dance, but it's especially important when it comes to dance, because it's like, just because some person thinks your stuff is whack, and just because some other person thinks your stuff is super great, as long as it matters to you, and as long as you find success in that, the other people shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Authentic to you.
Yeah, as long as it like feels good to you and you feel successful about it, then like honestly, that's the best feeling in the world you could have. Mm-hmm. If you start not feeling successful about it, then that's maybe when you need to reevaluate like what the specific thing means to you, whether it be your degree, dance, or like basketball or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just relate it to dance a lot because like we've all danced in our lives at one point.
Yeah.
And
and also just to give context.
Yeah,
like,
to give context.
What is it? My Instagram is popping off right now because I'm talking shit about the dance community. So we're trying, like right now we're trying very hard, and it's very difficult to try not to talk about dance because my DMs are just popping up right now about it. So, but we just want to make sure this episode about success. However, we all have dance experience, and we've noticed. We all noticed like how a lot of times, and I know this is in different communities too, how success is defined. Like
it's just on our minds right now.
It's on our minds right now, definitely, and we're trying to stay on topic, but yeah. Sorry, you go on.
Number 2, that what I put down is you're more valuable than what you accomplish.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing for success. I think yes, revel in your success and look at the things you've accomplished, but know that as a person you are always more valuable than what accolades you've gotten, whether I don't know, it'd be like you got MVP at your basketball tournament, or like you have a degree and you have a really good paying job and stuff like that. But I think it goes beyond what you've accomplished in your life. I think it's how you are valued as a person. Like, dude, like Vince is super kind, he's super giving, he's super selfless. Jasen's super funny and he's like super cynical, and like that's why everyone fucking loves him. But, and that gives value to and that makes them way more valuable than Jasen was a dancer 3 years ago. and Vincent's an engineer at Vincent's an engineer. I was about to dox Vince. Vince is an engineer at a downtown Calgary oil company. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if that's doxing, but there's a ton of oil companies.
There's a few. Flip a coin.
Or Lawrence worked for Pulse Studios. You know what I mean? Like it goes beyond like what you've accomplished and what other things that define you, essentially. Like there are other things that people find value in that are way more important than what you've been successful in. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much a success in itself. And my last point is success is to be fulfilled. Like what I said, success is to feel comfortable, and no matter how large or small your success is, it'll always give you some sort of type of fulfillment, like waking up in the morning, or getting a dog, feeding your dog, or taking good care of your dog, or like having good night out with the boys. That's a success. You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is, don't undervalue your definition of success, and try to find more value in the smaller things. Yeah. I think we always focus on the larger things, like getting a degree, I don't know, getting a girlfriend for the first time, or winning first place at representatives competition.
Oh, let's go. Diamond.
I'm just kidding.
Diamond. 9.7.
But but at the end of the day, that stuff does matter, and that stuff is good to feel good about. But also, like, getting up in the morning, eating healthy, going out to work out every single day, especially when that's a goal you set out to do or not, it's still valuable, and it's still a success. And and any type of fulfillment you feel from that, people shouldn't be able to invalidate that, because that's you.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean? So
First place extra credit. We forgot that.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we should have like an off the record episode where we just talk shit.
Oh, hell yeah,
about,
bro.
Like, experiences. Of course, we'll be mindful of how we talk to people, we definitely feel like narcissist is a definitely common theme in some of these communities.
yeah.
But yeah, what the fuck is the question? Most valuable lesson you learned about success. What did you use
to think that's successful?
Yes. Okay. I think I mentioned this in like the past recorded footage that just got lost like 5 seconds ago. But basically, how I guess my ultimate success or goal in life was just to be happy. That's always been consistent throughout like everything. But how I thought I was going to be happy was like, like capital success, like having a lot of money, like financial health, whether that's fame, like blowing up, just like, being really good at something. Also the concept of a passion, that you're only destined to do one thing, and if you gravitate towards that, like it's very taboo. Your ultimate goal in life is to find that one passion and to stick with it, and deteriorating out of it would be the ultimate sign of sin. Like I used to think that was considered successful, but it was kind of weird, because I did watch this like some videos about like what it meant to have a passion and stuff like that, where on average usually most people change careers every 7 years, right?
Yeah.
And that's just one study, that's just an average. But I do feel like I was very tunnel vision in terms of what success was. I just wanted to be good at dance. That's really what it is. So I thought that I just need to find a passion, something I was into, and to be really good at it, and then be respected for it. And that's what I thought would bring me value. We talk about the breadwinner mentality, about the whole being valued by what you can offer. And we only use money as an example, but I definitely think like a lot of people devalue themselves when they don't accomplish some of these goals. Like if they don't, get booked, or they don't become an NBA All-Star, or they don't become a world famous chef, or do whatnot, they start to devalue themselves. So like that was one misconception I definitely had about success, whereas like if you're not achieving these successes, that doesn't devalue you as a human in any capacity. I know a lot of times I felt like I need to offer something to the world to be valued, to be loved, and honestly that created a lot of anxiety for myself. And honestly, I think just going back to the point of like, who cares what people think. So if you guys don't know, I'm not Filipino. I mentioned this before, like I'm Mexican. So tiger parenting style, like I would say my mom was a little bit of a tiger parent, but for the most part, I think a lot of my drive in life was definitely from spite. Being Hispanic, there's not a lot of positive stereotypes about Hispanics. Like we're dumb as fuck, drop out of high school, get our daughters pregnant at 16.
They love tacos.
Love tacos. You'll jump the border and stuff like that. We're not really considered as like very intelligent people, and like I found that environment very common in my church, and even in like I used to go to private school where there's predominantly a lot of white people, where a lot of times I was talked to down as if I was like dumb and stupid, right? And so I constantly try to prove people wrong, and I just tried to find success, so capital success, or just like lots of money, a good, well-paying job, just to prove that it was something more. But as I got older and like a lot of people removed from my social circle, I was like, who the fuck am I trying to impress? Like no one, right? So success for me, again, I'm just gonna say it's a verb, and I've lately, instead of trying to find success in jobs and finances and like fame, whatever. I've been focusing on trying to find success in relationships. And like success can be what you want it to be, and it doesn't have to be like the capital definition that we all kind of fall into.
Just touching on one point real quick. You mentioned like if you don't offer something to the world, you don't find value in yourself. Like, just to be very blunt, we didn't ask to be here.
Right.
We didn't ask to be born. I don't know if that's dark or what, but like we didn't ask to be born. And that kind of links to finding your purpose or finding your passion. You are more than your passion. Like you're more than. So let's say you're 18 or 20, or you're a young adult, and you think, okay, I'm not gonna use dance as an example. I'm gonna use streaming as an example. If you say like streaming is your passion, right? And you like go out and buy all this gear, like make your stream like really high tech or whatever, like all the bells and whistles, and it doesn't work out for you. You're not getting the views. You're not getting the subs. You don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm such a failure. Like I can't do this thing, because maybe like your talents as an individual are not meant for streaming. So go out and find another thing that fulfills you, right? Don't just like wallow and say, oh my gosh, I suck at streaming.
There's not one thing that can fulfill
my
you.
dream is over, right? No, it's not. Like you're literally 20 fucking years old. You've got a lot of, and I think we're gonna touch on it further into the episode, but there is no time, and I think you also mentioned this in the past episode. There's no timeline for success.
No timeline for success.
There's no rule in life that says, okay, you have to be successful by this age, or like you failed in life.
Yeah.
There's no rule that says that. If you're religious, there's nothing in the Bible that says that. There's no like when you're born, okay, here's your timeline. This is by this age you have to get a job. By this age you have to get, like, there's literally no rules. And that's kind of the beauty of life, I guess. Like, you can kind of like just figure it out on the go while like fulfilling your own potential. And I guess to wrap up my point, as long as you're keep moving forward, like you should be fine. Don't define success as just like the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Because life is always going. There's always challenges. It's always the consistent climb, right? So I don't know. Just don't get too caught up in a passion. If you don't succeed at it, oh well, life goes on. And I guess Ronald, you were talking about the timeline. It's like no timeline for success. Yeah. And I guess that's a good segue into this question. It's not like the next question, but like I guess it's a good segue into this question.
Oh no, we skip questions.
Yeah, but I'm saying like this is a good.
Okay.
It like kind of melds well.
I know what you're trying to do. I'm going to complete your magic.
I love it.
Anyway, so this question is asking, why do people feel like they are on some sort of timeline to achieve, like setting unrealistic goals or whatever, and I think I touched on it. We all touched on it. Is like, people think that life is short, and I think it was either you, Ronald, or Jasen. You were like saying that, I want to finish my degree by my 20s, get a job by 24, get married by 26, and have kids. But that's a lot of things to do in a decade. And if you think about it, a decade is not a long time, because in that timeline, where are you making time for yourself? Like, for example, traveling by yourself, or I don't know, learning a new skill.
Like cooking, cleaning, getting your license, or
becoming an adult.
Yeah,
becoming an adult.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. It's just there's no timeline. I mean, for kids, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but just to add on to your point, like really quick, just a side note, like, dude, from 10 years, from age 10 to 20, it's a lot. Like this, it's a lot of change, but it's also like, do you really like want to go through that much change in 10 years? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, bro.
As you get older, we value stability a lot more. As you get in your 20s, of course, you have all these goals like get a degree, get a job, get money, get married, get kids. That's a lot. Like not only does that take a lot of time, a lot of energy, it takes a lot of money, bro.
That's a major.
You gotta go to
allocate,
school,
bro.
student loans. You gotta get married. You gotta pay for the reception. You gotta pay for honeymoon. You gotta pay for whatever the fuck. What
And
else?
also, you want to move out with your partner.
And you want to move out.
Do you live in the basement with your parents? Like
You want to
Yeah.
pay for an apartment, for rent, for a house, and kids. You want to pay for, I don't fucking know, diapers, supplies,
bro.
all the sleepless nights. That's a lot of things to do in a
Yeah.
decade. So I don't know, like life isn't in the grand scheme of things. Life is short, yes, but in like human terms, if you just live in the now, it's not really that. It's not really that. You got a lot of time
Yeah.
here, and with medicine improving and all that stuff.
Wait, like going back to the 10 to 20 point, like think about like how many major allocates you hit at like from
Ronald,
age
by the
10
way,
to
it's
20.
accolades, not allocates. But
Oh,
go
sorry,
on.
accolades, bro. I can't English.
immigrants, am I right?
Even though me and Jason are the ones that are. Oh no, never mind. I'm the only one who's born here, and then it's like fucking Vince who came here, bro.
Yeah, across the border. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, I came here
But,
on
like,
an Air Canada flight, but just kidding. Go ahead.
But like from age 10 to 20, that's a lot of allocates to hit. Like think about what allocates you've hit from age 10 to 20. Like fucking graduate high school,
Graduated high school,
enter university,
got your first girlfriend.
got your first girlfriend, got your license. Maybe not. Maybe or maybe not. you know.
Maybe not.
And it's like think about how much money you've spent in that comparatively to like from 20 to 30. You know what I mean?
Multiply that by 3.
Exactly. And like in the grand scheme of things, a decade is short, but it's also like it's really short, to be honest. Like 10 years is not a lot of time. So yeah.
The fuck are we talking about?
The time, the number.
The
Timeline.
timeline. So a biggest thing I wanted to bring up was the feeling that people feel like they're behind, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if they need to achieve something at a certain age, and again, I'm going back to the point of like Instagram of like kids just like blowing up at the age of whatever, like like I don't know, what did I say, TikTok, or they invented some kind of weird thing, or like people celebrate these people who like are like the Napoleons of the world, you know what I mean? Like that just done great things. I use Napoleon as an example. It could be anyone really, who just like do great things, and like as you get older, sometimes you tend to feel like it's a competition, right? Where like if it's almost like a dick measuring contest where you feel like you correlate success with an age, right?
Yeah.
And so if as you get older, you're like, I'm running out of time, right? And so you're constantly feeling that you need to achieve this big thing, whatever that big thing is. Otherwise, like you're behind, right? You're running on on timer, right? But I always like to challenge that perspective of it's like, do you really need to do something great and offer something to the world? Like, can you just not exist? Can you just exist?
Yeah.
Is that not an option of just existing, being present in the world and just being you as you are? I know I talked to one of my peers about this, where he talked about like black excellence, right? Where he's saying like a lot of people celebrate black excellence, right? And you know how like a lot of times you need to feel like they need to achieve like black excellence to be valued as a human being, right? But it's like sometimes I just want to be, and he used the N-word, but he's like, I just want to be a normal black person, or a normal person basically, not just like he just wanted to go to school, do normal things, do regular hobbies. He didn't want to like, he felt like he had to achieve. He definitely felt like he had to achieve this whole like idea of like black excellence in order to be valued in this world. He's like, I just want to be a normal human being. Like I don't want to, like I guess like have to accomplish something so grand to a point where like he's valued, right? And like he obviously he wasn't saying as like to devalue people who have like like black people who have achieved successes, of course. But he was just saying like he doesn't need to do that, right? That's not something that he needs to do, right? And I was like, yeah, like I constantly feel like I said again, we're always valued by what we can offer the world. And that's like a whole conversation about like systemic racism and stuff like that. But especially I know like just being Hispanic, like there's a lot of negative traits, and that's something that like and I mean I get told a lot that's like you're basically Filipino, or just like a lot of times they would call me by Mexican as a word, like as that's the title, and it really devalues you as a human, right? Where it's like it becomes a negative connotation where it's like you're not human, you're not being seen. You're not present, right?
Yeah.
And so like in order for people to notice me, I feel like I need to like be successful. I need to like achieve something great. So like then I can like represent the Hispanic community or some shit like that, right? But I was like, sometimes I feel like I don't need to do that. Like I kind of just want to exist. Sometimes I kind of just want to be present in who I am, acknowledge who my race is, of course, like not deny who I am in my past, my culture, my history, my ethnicity, but just kind of be present in who I am. There's no timeline for success. Like I literally am just existing. Time, I feel like we definitely see it as like a linear path because we're third dimensional beings, whatever the fuck. But time is ever going, and I think the best way you can see it as is something that you're just enjoying now. Like present. You're present in it. And my question is, are you gonna chase success, or are you gonna live in the present and really enjoy yourself and who you are as a person? Enjoy the people around you. Enjoy like the loved ones. Enjoy the things that make you happy.
Yeah. And I guess to tie that into the question that we skipped, it's the shaming culture. So people who use their success to shame others. And one note that I had here is, especially, I've touched on this in the last question, but Asian parents are particularly good at this when they're comparing their kids to not necessarily just other Asian kids, just other kids, like family friends or family members. Or stuff like that, like, oh, little young boy Jimmy,
little
young boy Jimmy is getting these kinds of grades. Like, why aren't you doing the same? Well, little young boy Jimmy's a loser, doesn't have. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding.
Go touch some grass.
Yeah, go touch some grass, noob.
No, but like, yeah. So, I think that's a very toxic thing to do, to compare. Firstly, to compare yourself to other people, but other people comparing you to other people is also very kind of degrading.
Most of the time, it's unhealthy competition.
Wow. Yeah, because it's just like, why can't you just see me as me, and why do you have to compare me to other people, right? Like, I'm not here to be them. I'm here to be me. And the other note I had is like, everyone has their own journey, right? It's not, as Jasen touched on earlier, time is linear, but our path through life. Everyone's path through life is not the same. Like, you can go, so basically, we all start at birth, and we all end up dying, right? That's the nature of life. But it's not. It doesn't go from here to here in a straight line. My path could go like this, and your path could go like fucking over there, and then end up here, right? So not all of us have connect the dots. Exactly, bro. Like. And back up.
Hi, my name is Jasencanul.
and you're
watching the Disney Channel. It's kind of sucks because like we have this on Spotify, so like it's hard to do like image jokes.
Yeah, watch us on YouTube, bro.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Like,
but
Jasen waves his hand like the Mickey Mouse hand.
Yeah, descriptive audio. But anyway, so kind of finish my point. Like, everyone has a different path in life. So if you're comparing to other people, you're kind of wasting your time, because their path's probably not going to be the same as yours, and you're not focusing on your own path. You're looking at their path. Like, why? Theirs is going over there, yours is going over here. So just focus on your own path and keep looking forward. I guess that's like my biggest advice on this.
I think like, to touch on that, I think it's like people who kind of shame you about your success are just either insecure about that area of success. You know what I mean? True. Like, a lot of the time, people who like will shame you for that will always like try to one up you. They'll always be like, oh, like, you make this amount of money in a year, well, I make this amount of money in a year, or shit like that, right? And to be honest, I have a feeling that a lot of people who are shaming you for that kind of shit are just insecure about another aspect of their life that you're successful in, right? So it's like, for instance, like, some guy named fucking Dave is fucking shaming me because he makes this amount of money. Well, guess what, Dave? You're still single and not married, right? So, like, so I think a lot of people who do shame you for that are just jealous of other things in your life. Like, I don't know, maybe you're more good looking, or maybe you're like you drive a nicer car or stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're just downplaying it because they want to feel better about themselves comparatively to you.
Exactly.
And in the first place, you shouldn't be comparing success. But and we're gonna talk about that later in the episode. But it's just like, just chill out, man. Like you are successful, and you're successful in your own ways. And people who just shame other people for being less successful than them are just fucking whack.
Yeah, it's whack.
Again, there's more value to you than just your accolades, right?
Yes,
Accolades,
sir. He got it.
Yeah. It's they're literal jealous Andes, man.
Jealous Andes.
Stop trying to flex at the expense of others. Like flexing at the expense of others just makes you look like a fucking asshole,
Douchebag.
you know. And it's just, I don't know. Like it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when you do it, and it's just like, bruh, I don't care if you make this amount of money. I don't care if you drive that car. Like, I don't care if. I'm silence. I don't care if you're better at dance than me. I don't care if you're this or that. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm happy for you, man. But I'm gonna still keep doing me, and I'm gonna still keep being successful in my own lane. And just trying to shame me for that is just really whack, bro. Like, go touch some grass.
Go touch some grass.
Something I want to talk about that like contributes to shaming culture is like highly competitive people. Highly competitive people are the bane of my fucking existence. Where it's constantly valued about what you can bring or what you do. It's funny because there's this tweet that I know you replied to, but there was a tweet from this one person that was saying like, you know, oh, when I was young, I wanted to be booked on blah blah. Like I can't remember what the fuck they said.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember.
And then like, and everyone in place said that they wanted to start a family, kids, and here am I doing it, right? It's like, cool. What's the point of that tweet? Like, what the fuck was the point of that tweet? Like, is starting a family, kids like a wrong thing? Like, if you don't want to have kids or don't want to like, you know, start a family, like that's cool, right? And like, you know. Like you said, like they might be jealous about some other things in their aspect of life. Like, I don't know if this person has healthy relationships. You know what I mean? Like, not to throw shade or anything, but it's like, yeah, like you got success in whatever goal you want to do, but like, you know, we decided to take the route of like healthy relationships. That's something that we want to do. We kind of gave up the whole aspect of trying to like attain some like fame or fortune, whatever.
Like some type of like success.
Yeah, whatever that success looked like to you of just being recognized and stuff like that. It's like, well, I don't know. For us, recognition, for at least myself, recognition is not something that like I really care about. I just care about like intimate relationships with the people around me, and that's not just like romantic relationships, like just relationships in general. But yeah, I constantly feel like, and it's very narcissistic behavior because it's more about like they make it about themselves, right?
Yeah.
Where like they're not really being mindful about others. Where like if you achieve anything, they will devalue it. Right, because it's like not their definition of success. You know, they're sleeping on you, bro. They're sleeping on you.
They're sleeping on you, bro. Your time's coming, bro. Your time's coming, man.
Bro. Yeah, right. And so like, I have a big problem with like, you know, people that really like undermine my work and like the amount of effort I put into things. Right. I don't want to dox this person, but I definitely been having a lot of anxiety and a lot of like, I guess, anguish around this person because every time I'm around them, it constantly feels like I'm always in a competition. Right. Every time I perform well, it's like a lot of times they have a little side comment saying like, oh, it's basically a side comment that says like you have it easy, or a side comment that's like, oh, like, you know, I gave you training or whatever, or like, you know, I'm the reason why you're in this position, right? You know, and it's kind of like, it kind of devalues the work I do and stuff.
100%.
And you know, it just doesn't let you celebrate your victories, right? Where it's like it also incites imposter syndrome, which is I think another thing we're gonna talk about. Where it's like you don't feel like you're in this space because you feel like people hand it to you, and it's like sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it is the people around you being like, you know, I made you, right? And so now you owe me now, kind of like weird kind of behavior, stuff like that, where it's like highly competitive, where it's like, I don't know, they just want to seem better than you. And it's so weird because it's like, you know, a lot of times when you confront that kind of behavior, it's like, oh, that's just how I am. it's the rising moon, where the fuck, I don't know, whatever.
Oh, God.
But I say this like to whatever ideology is, like I don't care if you believe in horoscopes, I honestly don't. But like passive aggressiveness, pettiness, gaslighting, those are behaviors. Those are not personality traits, and all behaviors can be fixed, right?
Yep.
So when it comes to shaming culture, it's not that that's just how you are. It's not just how you're born. Don't blame your trauma on like that's why you do it. Like that's how my household did it. You know, that's how the Latinos do it. Where the fuck, or that's what the Asians do. Whatever. No, like that is very problematic, and you need to fucking reparent yourself.
Go see a therapist.
Go see a therapist if you can afford one.
help.
If you can afford
not,
one.
please like bullet journal. Like just there's some free counseling services. Just like talk to someone. Really be open minded. But just the idea of like really being toxic about like success and that like and being just not being mindful about other people and just being like that's just how I am. There's no excuse for that kind of behavior. No. I'm sorry. It can be any like I don't care if like like you have a sob story. I'm trying not to be like so explicit so like we get demonetized. We don't get money, but
we don't get money.
It gets censored or removed off the platform. But like I don't care what your trauma story is, like you have no reason to make someone feel little for accomplishing things, even if it's little things. Yeah.
Like that Michael Jordan meme where it's like, stop that, get some help. That's what you need, man. That's the meme.
Bro,
you guys
that's
need,
what I
bro.
want to say to this person because like and I talk to this with Lawrence and my other friends how like I'm just very uncomfortable around this person where it's like they remind me about all the people I've dealt with in like the dance community, right? Where it's like a lot of narcissists where it's like it's highly competitive people. Right, and it's like I understand your hunger and growth to be to be good and like to succeed, but like there's nothing wrong with being selfishness. But I also think that you can also not be an asshole. You can also be mindful for others, right?
Eat that.
Stop shaming your friends. Stop shaming people around you for not getting success at what you view successful. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say about that.
Eat that. Yeah. Cool. So the next question or topic is the concept of work hard, stay humble.
This, but I want you guys to go first.
Ronald, you can go first.
I can go first. Oh my God, we heard this freaking phrase all the time in high school, and even when I was like dancing early on in the competitive scene. And I think the definition has definitely changed for me. I definitely think it is as cringe as it is. And it's also very like it can also be used in a very harmful way. But to me, it just means like it doesn't mean that you shouldn't take pride in what you've accomplished. It just means at the end of the day, there's still more that you can do if you want that for yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Humble as in like don't be an asshole. And if you accomplish something, it doesn't mean you can't celebrate it, but just do it healthily and don't be an asshole about it. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's what rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And that's why a lot of people say that, is because other people are like, yeah, I worked so hard and I accomplished this, but then this guy goes out here and starts bragging about this shit. Mm. And it's like, in the first place, you shouldn't really care about what he's doing. But at the end of the day, like, that's on him that he's being an asshole, and people won't like him because of that. Yeah. And and at the end of the day, you shouldn't really give this phrase too much power, because it's like, if you want to go celebrate, if you want to revel in your success, do it. You know what I mean? As long as it's healthy and it doesn't affect the relationships around you, then like by all means, man, like celebrate, like let yourself like embrace the goodness that you feel about your success. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with telling other people that like, yo, I got like a 3.2 GPA in the semester this year.
Hell yeah,
or like,
brother.
Yo.
Hell yeah, brother.
Or like, yo, I got second place at Represent Edmonton.
Like first place in the dance competition.
Ayo.
There's nothing wrong with reveling in those successes. And it's like, there shouldn't be anyone out there telling you that, like that you shouldn't brag about those things, because like if it means a lot to you and you worked really hard for it, bro,
do it,
man. Like,
you deserve
it. Stay humble doesn't mean stay silent.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good quote. That's a clip.
That's a clip.
Stay humble doesn't mean stay passive, bro. Like Be like bro, like if
Celebrate your victory.
Celebrate your fucking victories, bro.
Because sorry to interject, but like if you don't, then no one will.
No one will, because
unless you can do something for them.
Yeah. Because it's like, bro,
that's literally what I want to talk about.
Because it's like, bro, if you tell me as your friend that you fucking smashed this semester, you got a 4.0 GPA, or you got that job you really wanted, or you fucking, I don't know, you taught fucking Bosco how to sit, bro. Like, I will fucking get hyped for you. I will like celebrate with you, and that's just what good people do. So it's like, don't stay silent. Like, let your friends and your loved ones and the people who you really, really care about know, because they want to hear it.
Yeah.
Don't like at the end of the day, to wrap this point up, don't give that statement power, and don't think about it too deeply, because at the end of the day, it's just words. And at the end of the day, we want to celebrate your success, no matter who you are. You know what I mean? Because we're good people. Facts. And fuck those assholes that are like, yeah, you just gotta stay humble, bro. Like, stop bragging about your first place. Fucking.
That's nothing. Stay hungry. Whatever. Stay hungry.
Yeah. First place. Yeah, you got first place at that jam. You got first place at extra credit, bro. You ain't stay humble, bro. It's like, oh, brother.
Yo, touch some grass, man.
Touch some grass, man.
I guess I can go. Work hard, stay humble. So stay humble is my motto, actually. Ayo, shout out to BM Vibe 2015.
BM
Vibe. But my kind of take on no, stop. Not the scarf, bro.
No, it's okay. Continue. We'll tell that story another time.
Okay, anyway, so my take on stay humble is, like, as Ronald said, stay humble doesn't mean don't celebrate your victories. Of course, you got to celebrate and like appreciate all that you've done, whatever goal it is that you have. But that means also don't get too caught up in your victories that you don't look forward. Keep yourself, like, I guess, bring it back to me. Like, I want to keep myself grounded and realize that there's still a lot more. Because I'm still young. There's still a lot more that I can do. There's still a lot of potential I have yet to fulfill. So it's kind of like that middle ground, right? Like, celebrate the small victories, but at the same time, you always be open to learning. Always be open to growing. Because once you get that small victory, you get that high. It's so easy to just be like, yo, I'm the shit. I don't have to do anything else. Everyone will think I'm good, and then like, once someone else passes you and like becomes better than you, you're like, oh shit, like, what am I doing, right? And I guess to wrap up this point, I guess that's all I want to talk about. Like, to wrap up this point, an analogy like that I can use to describe this is, like, say for example, you're hiking a mountain, right? You haven't reached the top yet. The top is like, obviously when you die, when you're dying, when you look back in your life, you feel fulfilled, right? That's kind of like the top for me. But doesn't mean that along the way you can't appreciate the view every now and then, because usually when you're hiking like a really good mountain, there's views all along the way. You don't just keep going. If you stop, you take pictures, you appreciate the view. Bro. You gotta breathe. You gotta eat lunch.
Take a shit.
You gotta take a shit.
You gotta feel the breeze.
No, stop. Kiss Justin. But yeah, so yeah, just because you haven't made it to the top doesn't mean you can't appreciate the view every now and then, and that's kind of like what stay humble means to me.
Yeah, I actually have a lot to say about this. I definitely find the whole, and personally, I do find the whole saying stay humble very annoying. Now, this may challenge like what you guys just said, but this is something I've always had as a belief. It's something I kind of learned in school where, see, I don't have the belief that arrogance or humbleness is correlated to performance at all. So like, and like, let me explain, because I know this might sound like a little bit controversial. So there's a study I learned about there was a study I learned about in my psychology class that correlated like certain personality traits and certain qualities to success. And so the operational definition of success was people like who had a lot of money. So they measured their income status how good they were at their craft. So they did like pilot testing to see how good they were at something. And I think their fame. So I think they did Instagram and Twitter followers, whatever. And then they took personality tests, right? So they wanted to find a consistent like correlation between being humble, modest, right, and success. So the definition of success that they defined it as, and arrogance. What is it? It's like psychopathic tendencies, whatever, and success.
Yep.
In this study, they didn't really find a significant correlation of like staying humble brings you success, right? And there was another study that was saying how like a lot of people who have higher signs of psychopathy and I think extroversion, whatever, and like some other qualities tend to run in higher successful businesses and stuff like that. And so the question is, I think a lot of people might ask is like, well, why are you telling me this? Like, if being humble doesn't bring success, what's the point of being humble? And to me, that's exactly what a narcissist would say. Of like, I'm only going to be a good person to get something good in life, which is something I always challenge, because I've had this argument so many times with people. It's like, I think I had even recently where it's like, I said like, yeah, arrogance doesn't inherently focus on like interview performance. And like, yeah, but like if you're arrogant and you're lazy, like, well, yeah, if you're lazy, but arrogance itself doesn't actually correlate to performance. Yeah. You can be a Manny Pacquiao, or you can be a Money Mayweather, right? And I think a lot of people use confirmation bias to kind of see like people who are humble, who are like, modest in success. But there's also people like Jeff Bezos. There's also people like, who's like, I don't know, who's another evil person Hitler, who was like, I guess, successful. I know that sounds very kind of wrong, but you know what I mean? There's narcissists that can still be successful, right? And so, and
Jake Paul, like the Pauls.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Paul, yeah.
And this is something to talk about, because I feel like a lot of people, and this is why I talk about narcissism, and I'm going to talk more about this in the relationship episode, where a lot of people only do nice things for other people because they believe that it will bring them success.
Yeah.
Right? That good people, and it does contradict the studies, the belief of karma of like, if you're good, the universe will reward you, and if you're bad, the universe will punish you, right? But this is something I always talk about, where it's like, bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people, right? And so a lot of times with these people who are narcissistic, right, they're only nice to you because they can gain something for you. And so some of you may be asking, like, what's the point of being a good person if, like, I gain nothing from it? Well, there is good news. What is it? Humbleness, modesty, mindfulness, altruism, kindness. Those things are highly correlated with positive relationships.
Yes,
so
sir.
A lot of people like being around someone who's mindful, someone who's nice. I want to give a shout out to one of my friends, and I'm going to dox his name. His name is Flores. I always say I think he's the nicest person in the whole world. I just want to give him examples, and sometimes he doesn't even realize he's being this nice. But so one day, like, he invited us to his house, right? And before all of us came, he like cleaned his bathroom before we came, because he knew we were coming over, right? And to him, he was like, yeah, that's just my mom does. Like, it's just an immigrant thing, just clean before neighbors come. I was like, like, you live alone, and, now that you have your freedom, you could have just been like, fuck Jason, his burrito guts, whatever.
Bubble guts,
whatever. Or like, fuck my friends, they're gonna root, like, take my toilet paper. Like, what's the point of cleaning about that? I don't get anything, right? And then, like, this other time, like, what is it? I went to his house like recently, and he cooked us dinner.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Like, for no reason.
Yeah.
He didn't ask us for anything in return. And he was just like, yeah, man. Like, he's like, I'm making dinner. You guys want some? I was like, sure, yeah. And he made, like, was it 1, 2, like, he made 4 people, 5 people in the venue dinner. And this dude, like, just moved out. So I can imagine he's probably struggling financially just to, like, hold his ground. And he didn't need to do that, right? And I noticed that, like, I really value altruism in people. Like, I find it like, not just romantically, but just, like, in friendship, I find it so attractive. Like, I think it makes me want to do more stuff for you, right? It kind of sucks because, like, I know, like, when Flores was moving, right? There was a friend that would kind of tag along, right? And he offered to build Flores' table, right? And, like, we tried to help him, and he was like, no, I know how to build IKEA furniture. And I'm like, well, everyone knows how to build IKEA furniture. Like, it's fucking easy. Like, we've all done it. Like, I think a lot of people build IKEA furniture, right? And then he made this joke, and it was one of those jokes where it's like, it's a joke, but there's a little bit of truth in, like, what he says.
It.
Yeah, where he was like, oh, I just built Flores' table. Like, now he owes me now. And, like, this guy, like, we had to pick him up. Like, this guy can't drive. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, it's not like you didn't have to come here, right? Like, Flores asked us to help, and we offered to help because he's our friend, and we just cared about him. we did it with no expectations or return. We're just like, yeah, like you're a friend. We care about you. Like you're moving out by yourself. Like you're probably all alone. You're a friend. We want to help you because we care about you. Like altruism, right? And like I just find it so selfishness, right? And like I remember, and I think it was Lawrence that I was in a Discord chat with, right? Where like, you know, and like I know I'm being very nitpicky about behavior, but I'm very, and I am being very judgy about this. But like I remember, like we're like emulating this video game, right? And there's like an ISO file to like, you know, to emulate the game, right? And this ISO file is like hard to find, or like, but it's free. It doesn't cost you money to get it, right? And I know Lawrence made comments like, "Oh, bro, you should give Jasen the ISO file, like, you know, like that, like then he can play the game too, right?" And then he said a comment where it was like, well, "What's the point? Like, what do I gain from it? Like, I don't get anything if I give him the ISO file." And I was like, well, first of all, like, and the thing is, I didn't ask for the ISO file. Like, I don't care. Like, it's whatever the fuck. But what bothered me was like, you're only willing to do kind things so you can get something in return. You know what I mean? That's what bothered me, right? Because I didn't give a fuck about the video game. I was like, I don't give a fuck like about emulating games, like whatever. And I find out even when like nice guys finish last, the whole like concept of like I did this for the girl, I took her out, I bought her flowers, like I listened to her, right? Like now she owes me love, now she owes me sex, now she owes me like why did she like me?
Doesn't
right?
owe you shit.
And I know I'm kind of diving into like relationships and stuff like that, but like I always tell people it's like being humble doesn't automatically give you a card to be like, or it doesn't like people should give you flowers, people should like reward you, right? Yeah. Like if that's your reason for being a good person, then like I have big problems with that. Because some of you may argue it's like, oh, what's the point of that? Because like you're still a good person. Like yeah, but like once you can't offer that person that thing, that benefit, then they no longer are good to you. Yeah. They no longer like, you know, do stuff for you, right?
Your intentions matter.
Your intentions really matter. And I'm definitely nitpicky about that, right? And like I especially because I dealt with it all the time where like a lot of people are like the whole I scratch your back, you scratch my back, right? Where it's all about what you can gain, what you can take from people, right? And I find these very hungry and like successful driven people to really have that mindset of like, you know, stay humble, not because it's the right thing to do, but because it would benefit me in the future, right?
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm not saying stay humble is being mad. I actually encourage it. I was like, yeah, I think you know, being mindful about other people, I highly encourage it. But I know when someone tells me to work hard to stay humble, I know where they're coming from, right? I know it's not like
true.
Like because it's a nice thing to do. It's just because like yeah, like oh, like good people get good things in life. It's like that's not always true. Like I'm sorry, that just doesn't happen all the time. Bad things happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people. Yeah. And if you don't choose to accept that, then I feel like you're ignoring a whole part of reality. And I definitely think a lot of people do punish themselves of like, you know, like the reason I didn't get successful is because I'm a bad person. It's like, no, you know, some things just happen in life and it's not your fault.
That's life.
That's life.
Last topic, last question. I guess we're ending off on a positive note here. The importance of celebrating your friends' victories. So celebrating your homies. Is competitiveness among peers really how we attain success? So I guess I can start here.
Okay.
I guess like competition, healthy competition is totally fine.
Yeah.
100%. And I think I saw this tweet about artists and like how artists in like, for example, the same city as you, you shouldn't view them as competition. They're more of like your colleagues, your peers. They should motivate you to be better at your craft. Yeah. And I think you can apply that to any circle of friends. Like if you see someone doing well, they're like, oh, like it's not like, oh, and I think you touched on this earlier, like, oh, like shit, like, no, he's doing better than me now. Like I gotta step it up because like you're afraid of being at a level lower than them, right? And I think that shouldn't be the case. Like, yes, there should be a healthy competition, but not because you want to be better than them.
It's and motivational.
And I guess this leads to my next point where it's like, what does it say? So the goal of, and I guess to bring it back to the topic of the podcast, success, one of the aspects that is important to me about success is like in my circle of friends, my goal for all of my circle of friends is everyone eats at the same table. So, what did I say here?
Jollibee.
So in that everyone eats, you know, the party pack, the party pack spaghetti jollibee.
Call something else. I forgot.
Get an extra mango pies for everyone.
The fiesta or something. I don't fucking know. But anyway, so
Palabok fiesta.
Like something spag.
but anyway, so I guess like in ideal friendships, everyone in that friendship should be working towards like getting everybody to that same to eat at that same table. Like you might not be at the same level at the same time, but what that means is you're always looking out for opportunities for your friends. You're showing them like good learning opportunities, like sending them.
You're uplifting them.
You're uplifting them. Yeah, you're directing them towards opportunities like I don't know, like workshops of any kind, classes they can take, and that's not necessarily just dance or whatever. It could be like some skills that they could learn. And a big thing, especially maybe like in our age, is job opportunities. So a lot of the time when I see a job posting in my work, and I think, oh, this would fit really well with one of my friends, and I think actually did that for one of my friends, Justin. I'm gonna dox his name, Justin. So I and not to like not to like highlight what I did for him,
like,
but
I'm just a good person kind of thing.
But this is just an example, right? So I like he asked me, hey, there's this posting at your place. Do you think you could help me out? And I was like, yeah, sure. I know the manager, so I'll send over your resume and like put in a good word for you. And he didn't end up getting the job, but like, you know, the manager said, yeah, I'll take a look at his application and stuff. So like that's the kind of example that like everyone in the circle of friends should be working to uplift
you
each
did
other.
it because you cared about him.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't do it because you wanted to gain something.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, now like I sent her your resume. Now what do you give me? Like,
yeah,
exactly.
like, that shit bothered me so much.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah. So I guess like bring it back to the point, celebrating your friends' victories. Make sure you're always like I guess going back to Jason's point that he talked about earlier, not giving credit, or you're always giving credit where credit is due, not devaluing your friends' successes, but celebrating with them and uplifting everyone else to be at that same level. Everyone eats.
Everyone eats. Yeah. I think competitive, friendly competition is really good. I think our friends' successes should inspire us. So an example I would use is there was a time where Vince was thinking about buying a house a couple months ago, and that was and it didn't necessarily affect me in a negative way, to be honest. I really responded positively to it, and I started thinking damn, that's so good for Vince that he's thinking about buying a house. And then I looked at my own situation and I'm like, I should start saving for a house. Yeah. So in a way, your friends' successes or the things that are upcoming for your friends should inspire you to do the same things.
Not saying you do need exactly it, but
you don't need to do exactly that. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't need. It's not like I was thinking in my mindset I'm gonna buy a fucking bigger house than this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna save up more money.
It was pool.
Yeah, it was more oh shit. Maybe I should kind of look at my life and see what changes I can make because of what Vince is accomplishing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in that aspect, you just saying that you are doing these things allows your other friends to level themselves up and be able to sit at the same table with you. You know what I mean? It's not that they can't sit at the table with you, but it's you still want them to feel fulfilled and successful when they're there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And because we already mentioned it a couple times, like Lauren said, everybody eats. Everybody eats. And everyone is entitled to the same amount of I guess Jollibee spaghetti party pack. Everyone every one of your single one of your friends in your friend group should be able to eat. So it's like Vince said, providing opportunities when you can provide those opportunities, or lending a helping hand out of the goodness of yourself. You know what I mean? It's not like Vince was oh, bro, I'm gonna buy a house, and then I'll be oh yeah, for instance, if
imagine not owning a house.
Imagine not owning a house.
Those fucking Twitter
stupid. Or if it's or if it's Vince is yo, I bought you lunch, and then he's oh, so you're gonna buy me lunch back, and it's I will still do it, but it's like it's still like a fucking stupid ass thing to like kind of point out. You know what I mean?
I bought you a bigger lunch.
Yeah,
I bought you a bigger lunch.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking buy you a bigger lunch, bro. Yeah.
I bought you an extra piece.
I bought you a party pack. But yeah, like again, we should uplift and not downgrade people through competition. It shouldn't be like, yo, I'm gonna buy you a bigger party pack than last time because you treated me to lunch, or it's like I'm gonna help you start a stream so that like you can subscribe to my channel or whatever.
I have a better
like
Twitch
that.
channel.
Yeah. Or fucking, I don't know, like I'm gonna teach you dance, but then in return you gotta do something for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's never like that. It's
very manipulative. Yeah.
With healthy kind of relationships, you want to encourage like friendly competition, but you want it to also inspire you and uplift you and really like want you to make changes in your own life.
Yes, exactly.
Like seeing your friends get that new job should maybe take a look at your own thing, and it's like maybe, hey, maybe I should like look at like doing better in school, or maybe I should look at actually going to school, or maybe I should look for a career change because my friend's successes inspire me to do that, or my friend is like trying to start a family, then maybe maybe I should look at some of the romantic relationships in my life and maybe I should change that. You know what I mean? It should, it's like your friend's successes should inspire change, and you shouldn't do it out of spite.
No,
you shouldn't be like, oh, like he's buying a house, I'm gonna fucking buy a bigger house with a pool and shit like that. I know we're fucking using the house one a lot. It's just when I heard that for Vince, I was really happy for him, but at the end of the day, my point is just don't be an asshole, and really exactly what we were saying earlier. Don't be silent about your successes, and let your friends like be inspired from your success. And you as a person, if you are spiteful about another person's success, then you need to change that.
You need to touch some grass.
You need to touch some grass, and
that is the phrase.
And it's like and it's like, stop that, get some help. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like, come on.
But kind of a little tidbit I wanted to talk about with like celebrating your friend's success. I felt like, and not to go back to like the whole dance community thing, but I definitely grew up in environments where celebrating success was very taboo and almost shamed upon.
Yes, sir.
To a point where I had a lot of anxieties about celebrating my success. Like I felt very shamed, right? It's funny because in the studio we had this thing called like the sharing circle, whatever. And there was this one girl, this one woman who like, and this woman is very talented. She like got like some like, was it building block scholarship?
Yeah, she got like some scholarship.
Some scholarship, some like booking for whatever block agent. She got to work with like, some famous choreographer, blah blah.
Yeah.
And she was like she was crying in this circle, right? And she was saying like, sometimes I just feel like I'm not doing enough. And then she like mentioned all of the stuff she accomplished, right? And then she made this little side joke, and we all laughed about it. It was like she like almost like boasts about her success, like, but hashtag stay humble or whatever. And like we all laughed about it, right? But it was one of those jokes where like it's like, I feel like people shamed you for celebrating those successes. Yeah. Like, I feel like, like you say humble as a joke, but I feel like you weren't allowed to celebrate those victories because a lot of people would see you as arrogant, and so you had to be humble to make other people feel good. But it's not your responsibility to make other people feel good.
That's their fucking problem.
That's their problem, right? Sure. And a little tidbit for some experience I had like recently, like last month, where I entered this esports tournament, right? So and like I was able to upset like, I think he was like a top 30 Alberta player, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he was a pretty good player.
And like it sucks because like I usually don't get past the preliminary rounds, right? And this is the first time I got past the preliminary rounds plus upset like a top 30. I don't know what rank.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
But he was a top
bro.
like a top player in Alberta, right? And so I was really happy, right? And I remember Lawrence just being there, just like gassed me up, and like that felt good. Like it felt nice, right? And immediately it was ruined by like one person, right? And like literally like this one person was because like the character that this person like it's a fighting game, right? So the character that this person played was also the character that one of my friends played, right? And the first thing he says to me, he doesn't say congrats. He says like, "Oh, you're welcome for the matchup experience." Like he immediately took that away from me and made it about himself, about like your credit was because of me. It wasn't because of the work you put into, right? And I remember just like wanting to cry, like that whole like sorry, it's a little traumatic, but I just wanted to cry that whole time. Like it really bothered me because like I have a hard time celebrating my victories, because like this whole concept of like staying humble, like I'm not allowed to boast about my experiences, right? And like there's this stereotype of like, you know, Hispanics being loud as fuck, right? And like, you know, I've always tried to like not, I remember being younger trying to like not embrace those stereotypes because they would make me like basic, whatever. But eventually I stopped giving a fuck, and I'm like, no, I'm just like loud and obnoxious a lot of times. I still being mindful for others, but kind of being unapologetically myself. But I just remember like that ruined my whole experience that whole weekend. Literally just like this whole idea of competition just like was so extreme to a point where it's like I just want people to congratulate me. I know that sounds very selfish. It almost sounds like narcissistic, but it's like it just would be nice if someone could tell me good job. You know. Sorry, I hit it very heavy. But yeah, that was something that I want to talk about because like I feel like a lot of people just don't realize how important it is to uplift your friends, right? They will always like find a way of like shitting on your homies, and I find that so problematic. And so like you don't know what people are going through, right?
Studio manager on camera.
Yes,
Let's go.
You don't know what people are going through, right? And so if you're so competitive to a point where you're like shitting on your friends, and I honestly think you need to reevaluate yourself, like 100%. I think that's just not acceptable. I think that's very toxic behavior, and I think that's like it's not even friendly competition at that point. I think it's just like
nah, bro,
really shitting on your homies, right?
Just being an asshole, man.
Yeah, exactly. And so so just being mindful about other people. I think there's nothing wrong with being hungry or being motivated or just like hustling, right? But and you know, being, you know, giving time to yourself, being selfish for yourself. But I definitely think there's nothing wrong with being mindful about the people around you and your loved ones, right? Because like I did like, and this is kind of gonna go back to shaming culture, where it's like your success or your lack of success doesn't warrant you belittling someone for achieving success or you achieving success. I just think that's morally wrong. Yeah,
I don't know.
And yeah, I guess this all comes like down to literally celebrating not just your friends, but just like students, people around you, success. Like the concept of uplifting. Like I know a lot of people say stay humble, but I always be like, well, then learn to uplift. Like if you want to stay humble, like and this is specifically in this city. I just find in this city, I find like a lot of people just don't know how to uplift. Like I obviously like narcissism and arrogance is obviously a problem, but I do think uplifting, for me personally, and for what I feel like in this city, is just even a bigger problem, and maybe even in the world. Like maybe a lot of people kind of find that a lot of people just don't know how to make people feel good. Like it's critique, shitting on people, not even construction feedback, just like literally just shitting on you. Like I think the power of uplifting really goes a long way. It does wonders for people. And if you think like, oh no, they'll get too arrogant and then they'll stop working hard, it's like, no, like some people need encouragement. And I know some people like they need to be their own cheerleader, blah blah, know how to self-regulate, you know, whatever. But I feel like if you're a good friend, you know, you would give feedback on what they can do better a couple days after the thing, but in the moment, I definitely think encouragement and positive reinforcement is super important.
100%.
And if you like believe that it's for some reason will make people like arrogant, not work as hard, and not, you won't, I don't know, like whatever fucking rationale you have, like I really think you go to therapy, but yeah.
And with I think with that we can end the episode.
Yeah. Who wants to close it off?
Ronald, do it.
Okay.
You ended it. You started.
All right. Yeah. And with that, we are ending today's episode. Tell us in the comments or like DM any one of us what success means to you and what are your success stories, because we want to hear what you guys are like, what you guys feel good about being successful about, whether it's accomplishments, whether it's fucking getting up in the morning, whether it's getting out of that toxic relationship, whether it's starting a new relationship. Tell us, like any of one of us, or message the UGH Instagram what you guys feel successful about, because we really, really want to hear like what you guys are successful about. And also give us your definition of what successful means to you again. Yeah. If you did miss that little like question post, like we really want to see what success means to you. And with that,
And
Peace
make
out.
sure you follow us on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Also, if you want to listen to any of the episodes, we are now on Spotify and Podbean.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been in a while, but this because this episode's gonna come like 2 weeks from now. But yeah, we are now on Spotify and Podbean, so you can listen if you like. I don't know, want to go
And
for a
Apple
walk.
Podcasts if you're a rich motherfucker. Just kidding.
Yeah, if
eat
like
that.
you can't watch on YouTube, that's totally cool because I know YouTube YouTube Red, YouTube Premium is
Yeah.
like is weird, whatever. We got Spotify, we are on Spotify, and we're also on Podbean. Yeah, we have more listening platforms. Yeah, like I said, leave a comment. Feedback's always appreciative. We want to hear you guys' experiences because again, it's just three dudes sharing our experiences, right? And we also want to hear
Yes, ma'am.
everyone
Yes, sir.
who's watching. Yeah, but with that, have an amazing day, evening,
Wherever the
midnight,
fuck you are.
wherever the fuck you are. Yeah.
We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Easy.
I would be so sad if it stopped recording.